Hello, welcome to a new video. It is time for my July TBR. Yes. Also, yes, you can hear a fan in the background. It is like almost 30 degrees right now, so you're gonna have to just put up with the noise because I can't deal with this heat. So, July, I am hosting a readathon called Sixathon, which if you haven't seen it, the announcement video is in the description box below, but it is based off the musical Six. Yes, I have Aragon's headband. I will not be taking any questions. So it is 7 prompts based off of the musical, and I'm very excited. They're very, very easy prompts to fill because I wanted an easy readathon. I will also actually be taking part in a second readathon in July, which is Magical Hothon. It is round 4, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's round 4. I've taken part in the last 2 rounds because I found out about the round 1 too late. And it is hosted by Rachel Kerris, who I will leave linked in the description box below. I'm very excited, and I've managed to smash this TBR planning this month. I'm very proud of myself. So first off, what we're going to do, we're going to go through my TBR game, then Sixathon, then Magical Hothon. I will say I'm really annoyed with myself, so I did my rolls and I realised about 5 minutes after I'd finished doing my rolls for my TBR game that I bought a dice tray at Comic-Con at the end of May and I forgot to use it. So I'm a little bit annoyed at myself, but it's fine. It's fine. So this will not be appearing. Will I remember it next month? Maybe. We'll see. So let's just get stuck in with what planets I'm travelling to and the rolls. Okay, so last month we ended on Tatooine. So let's see what 5 planets for July. That's a 3, so that is Mandalore. Roll number 2 is a 4, which is Lothal. Roll number 3 is 9, so that's Camino. Roll number 4. That is 7, which is Naboo. And then number 5 is 8, which is Tatooine. How? That is so close. I love that. Okay, so I'm using these dice today. I wanted pink to represent Magical Hothon and purple to represent Sixathon. So roll number 1, a double 2. Okay, we're starting off great. We're going straight to Mandalore. The prompt is Bo-Katan, a book with a sibling relationship. Okay, I started off really well and I got a double straight up. So I went straight to Mandalore and I pulled the Bo-Katan prompt, which is a book with a sibling relationship. So for this, I'm going easy and I'm reading A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas. This is July's book for Mass Along, which is hosted by Ash and Tori. If you've been watching my videos, you know the drill by now because I join in because I'm rereading them. There's 3 sisters in this series: Feyre, Nesta and Elaine, and they all feature in this. Okay, roll number 2. We only need to get to Lothal. A6 and a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Roll number 3. A5 and a 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for Lothal, we have Ezra, read a YA book. Next up, we headed to Lothal and I picked up the Ezra card, which is to read a YA book. This is pretty easy for me. I'm taking part in Chronicles of Ixia read along, and the next book is Stormglass, which is the first book in the Glass trilogy by Maria V. Snyder, which is hosted by Tori and Andy at A Zebra Reads. So again, another read along you might have heard me talk about. These are not rereads for me. I'm reading them for the first time and I'm having a fun time with them. But it's YA, so yeah. And then we still have 2 more spaces. So 1, 2. Roll number 4, a double 5. So we go straight down to Camino. Oh, maybe it's making up for last month having a lightsaber. We have, yes, Crosshair, a book that's right on point. So favourite trope. Next I got another double. I don't know how. But I ended up on Camino and I pulled the Crosshair prompt, which is a book that's right on point. So fave trope. And for this, I am choosing A Curse of Blood and Wolves by Melissa McTernan. This was May's Fairy Loot Romantasy book. Anyway, this was May's Fairy Loot Romantasy book. And this is a retelling. Does retelling count as a trope? I don't know. But also, fated mates, if it's done right, I love as a trope. So, my TBR game, I'm making the rules myself. So, I'm reading this because I am going to read my Fairy Loot Romantasy books because I got it. I got this box subscription for a reason. I'm going to read them. And we're 3 months into it and I've not read one. Now I need to get to Naboo, so roll number 5 is a 6 and a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Roll number 6. A double 1. What is happening? What? So the prompt for Naboo is C3PO, a translated book. Somehow I rolled another double. I don't know what was happening with these dice, but do I attempt to use them again next month? We'll see. But I landed on Naboo and I pulled the C3PO prompt, which is to read a translated book. Now, I wasn't sure what I could pick for this, and then I remembered that I am currently having the best time reading Attack on Titan, which is manga that was not originally in English. So I'm going to read the next volume of Attack on Titan. I don't know which volume that's going to be by the point I get to July, because it's very near the end of June, but I do still have time to maybe read another volume. I don't know yet. We'll see. But as it stands, the last volume I read was 21, so it's most likely going to be volume 22 I read. So yeah. Okay, roll number 7. We have to now get to Tatooine. I'm doing this. A 3 and a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then roll number 8, 6 and a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The prompt for Tatooine is Luke, a book with a twist. And then I didn't get another double, but I was, you know, I had roll 7. Like, I was about to do roll 7 and I only had to go from Naboo to Tatooine. So I was obviously doing it in 10 rolls. Or less, and I did it in 8 rolls, and I landed on Tatooine and I pulled the Luke card, which is a book with a twist. Now, I love the book I picked for this because I'm reading Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner, and the twist is actually on the blurb, so it's not spoilery because it's on the blurb. And she has a one-night stand, like they have a one-night stand, and the next day she finds out it's her best friend's mum. She had a one-night stand with her best friend's mum. So that's a twist. So I'll be reading this. Okay, so now for my 6 Hothon prompts. 7 prompts. Let's go. Yes, I'm wearing it. Look, I spent £20 on this. I'm getting as much use out of it as I can. So for the first prompt, it is Aragon, which is to read a first book in a series. And for this, look at me on my Fairy Loot Romantasy. I'm reading Law of the Wilds by Annalie Sabrana. I'm buddy reading this with Ash. We both want to keep on track with reading our Fairy Loot Romantasy books, so this is a great way to do it. So this is the first 2 Romantasy books that I'm going to be reading in 1 month. Go me. Also, I would like to point out the audiobook is on, I was about to say Scribd, Everand. I'm trying to get into the habit of saying Everand. Trying. Sometimes failing. But it's the first book in a series. Next up is Berlin, a book that everyone's talking about, and I'm going to be reading A Curse of Blood and Wolves by Melissa McTernan. Obviously, any book that's been in a Fairy Loot Romantasy since it started in March, people are talking about it, and this is one that fits that. Next is Seymour, read a friend's favourite, so I'll be reading Stormglass by Maria V. Snyder, because this is one of, if not, Tori's favourite series. Next up is Cleves, read a book that's had a cover change. I'll be reading Fable by Adrienne Young. Look at me, reading Backlist. And this has had multiple covers. I think the standard UK cover is different to this, and then I think the US covers have another different cover to that. So there's been at least 2 or 3 covers for these books. Next up is Howard, Read an Underrated Book. Now, hear me out. I'm reading A Court of Frost and Starlight. And I know you're thinking, it's Sarah J Maas, she's not underrated. Any other Sarah J Maas book, I would agree. However, everyone hates on this book, and I genuinely think it's underrated within the series because it is... I do think it brings something to the whole world because it bridges the gap between the first trilogy and then A Court of Silver Flames, and I think it does it really well, and you get some extra cute moments with your faves. So I think it's underrated within the series, and it's also my readathon, so I can stretch the prompt how I want. Next is Pa Read the last book in the series, and I'll be reading A Storm of Sisters by Michelle Harrison. Again, getting through some backlist, and also I felt like I needed to break up all the YA and adult with, well, actually everything's adult apart from Fable and Stormglass. So I thought I would break up the YA and adult a little bit with some middle grade, because I don't read middle grade often and I would like to actually finish this series. And then the final prompt is Ladies in Waiting, which is read a book with a group of people, and I've chosen Night Shadow by Sebastian de Castell because it follows the Greatcoats, which is a group of people. However, my friends Liz and Kelly and Caroline came up with, I don't know which one of the 3 came up with this, but you can twist it as a buddy read. The book itself doesn't have to have a group of people. If you're reading it with a group of people for a buddy read, it fits. And funnily enough, Night Shadow, I'm buddy reading with Kelly, so it fits that as well as fitting the prompt in the book sense. So if you're struggling for that prompt and you have a buddy read in July, there you go. Like, very impressed with that. I love it so much. Okay, and now we move on to my magical Hothon TBR. I am actually really excited to be able to wear these in parks because I haven't worn these in park yet, because a lot of my ears are character specific or they're Christmassy. So I do a lot of Disney bounds, but when I go Paris in December, I don't think I'm doing Disney bounds, or if I do, I'm only doing 1 or 2. So I think I'm going to take these and actually get to wear them, and I'm excited. But anyway, let's get on with the TBR. So I have the print out of all the prompts and I'm going to go through. I really want to be extra and try and do every single prompt on this, but I need to not because that is ridiculous. So I have picked 1 attraction, 1 snack, 1 show for each of the 4 parks, which is how you're supposed to. So let's go. I will say we've also got a park entrance prompt, which is read a book you cannot stop thinking about, and I'm actually, and you can read that within 2 weeks before, like within the 2 weeks before July starts. So I'm actually going to be using a book that I'm reading currently. I started it yesterday, so I started it on the 24th of June, so it's within the 2 weeks, we're fine. And that is Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. The book is over there. I can't remember to get up and get it, but I'll put it here, Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. So that is going to be my park entrance prompt because I'm meeting the author in a couple of weeks and I cannot stop thinking about the fact I haven't actually read any of her books yet. So I'm reading that as my park entrance prompt. And then we move on to Magic Kingdom. So for Magic Kingdom, the attraction that I'm deciding is one of my favourite rides, and actually out of the possibilities on here, it is my favourite. Big Thunder Mountain, it's the best. And for this, it's read the wildest book in the wilderness. And for this, I've chosen A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas because there is a scene in this which is so wild, and I'm like, I love that her editors let her put this in this book. And there's a lot of people that criticise that scene and like it's stupid, but I'm like, I don't care. Then next up, now Rachel did say you can double up your snack and show for a park. I have done that at some point in this, but not for Magic Kingdom. So for Magic Kingdom, the snack I've chosen is Dole Whip. I never had Dole Whip while I was out in Florida, and I'm still so annoyed. However, there was a shop near Ash that was doing Dole Whip, and we tried it, and oh my god, it was so good. I think it was pineapple and raspberry, and it was incredible. So I'm a fan of Dole Whip. So for Dole Whip, you read a booktuber favourite. So for this, I've chosen Night Shadow by Sebastian de Castell. A lot of people on BookTube love this, but in particular, the first person I ever heard talk about this series was JD Ray Reads. So booktuber favourite. And then for show, I've gone with Festival of Fantasy, which is to read a colourful book. So for this, I am reading Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner. Look at all the colours on that cover. It works. Next, we move on to Epcot, and for attraction, I of course have gone with Cosmic Rewind. I love Cosmic Rewind. I went on it 3 times, I think, while I was 2 or 3 times while I was out in Florida. It's amazing. I love it. Don't ask me what songs I got, because that was a whirlwind 2 weeks and I don't remember. But for this, the prompt is read a fast-paced book, and I am choosing Stormglass by Maria V. Snyder, because whilst it is super chunky, all the books in this series have been so quick to read. Like, I binged Fire Study in a day. Less than a day. It's like half a day. So yeah. So my snack for Epcot, I'm going with Food and Wine Festival booth, which, oh, Food and Wine Festival is beautiful. I love it. Like, if I went back to Florida, I would have to go during Food and Wine Festival, because it was just so good. There were so many good food and drink items around. I ate and drank so much there. But for this, it's randomise a book off your TBR. Now, I thought, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. This can be my 12 books pick. So let's see. How have I picked up 3? I'm just gonna let him fall. Right. Oh god. Gem, it's not happening in December. It's Firefly, Big Damn Hero. Oh my god, I'm so excited to read this. We have been joking so much about how, because I pulled it in January and then I pulled it as my backup book last month, which I find hilarious because the book that it was going to be a backup for, we all ended up DNFing anyway. But it's happening. It is happening. I kind of wanted it to happen in September because that's the month of Gem's birthday, but do you know what? I'm going to take it. It's happening now and I'm happy with that. So Firefly, Big Damn Hero by James Lovegrove. And then my show at Epcot will be Turtle Talk with Crush, which is to read a middle grade. I'm reading Still My Sisters by Michelle Harrison. Okay, then we move on to Hollywood Studios, which I think might be my favourite park. Is it because of Galaxy's Edge? Maybe. Maybe. But also Toy Story Land. It's great. So for attraction, I have gone with Rise of the Resistance, because of course I have. It's Star Wars. Plus, it was between this and Tower of Terror, but I liked the prompt better for Rise of the Resistance. So it's read a sci-fi fantasy book. I'm going to be reading Law of the Wilds by Annalie Sabrana. Very excited. And then snack and show, I am doubling up on this one. So for snack, I've gone with Frozen Cola, which is read a book that gives you those summer vibes. And then show, I've gone with Frozen Sing-Along, read a book whilst listening to the audiobook. For this, I've chosen A Curse of Blood and Wolves. I've got the audiobook on Everand for this. And now, hear me out. Summery vibes. I've got a feeling this is going to take place in autumn time, because it says in the blurb about crunchy leaves or something. However, any sort of romance book gives me summer vibes, so the romance in this is going to fit for this prompt. And then the final park is Animal Kingdom. So for attraction, I've gone with Flight of Passage because it is my favourite. I just kept wanting to go back on it. We went on it like 3 times, I think. And it was just an incredible experience and I had the best time, and I'm really sad it's a ride that isn't in Paris. So yeah, read a 5-star prediction. I've gone with The Exiled by Sarah Daniels. Now, I 5-starred The Stranded. I was blown away by The Stranded. And I am hoping its sequel will hold on strong to that love. So I think it will be a 5-star, and I hope it will be 5-star. And then again, snack and show, I have doubled up this. So for snack, I've gone with Cheeseburger Pods, which is read a book that has a crossover of genres or 2 formats. And for show, I've gone for Festival of the Lion King, which is read a TBR vet. I have chosen Fable by Adrienne Young. This is fantasy, however there's also romance, so whilst technically it wouldn't be fantasy romance, I'm saying it's fantasy romance. And it is a TBR vet because this came out in 2021, 3 years ago, and I got it when it came out because this is the Fairy Loot one, so it works. Okay, so I think this is a pretty doable TBR. Obviously there's also Night Shadow and The Exiled, but I think that is very, very doable, and it is a lot smaller than my TBRs the last few months have been. So I think I'm gonna be pretty good with this. And I think, I haven't checked to see if I can get the audiobook for Firefly, but I can get the audiobook for everything else. So, oh, and Attack on Titan, don't forget Attack on Titan. But again, that's gonna be even easier to read. So that was my July TBR. Let me know in the comments if you're taking part in Sixathon or Magical Hopathon, or if you're taking part in any other readathon. I'm really excited for these 2 readathons because Six the Musical and Disney are 2 of my favourite things. So, yay. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.